How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. It's Thursday. It's our Thursday show here with myself and Roxy. So we will discuss interviews. What happens with interviews? Things happen with interviews. We'll talk about that. Talk about TV picks. A lot of people always ask what things to watch and say that, you hear about things through this show. And I say, listen, always listen to Roxy when it comes to TV. So we'll talk about that. There's some Fantastic Four news stuff that Kevin Feige was discussing, and he brought it up yesterday. I didn't have a chance to speak about it yesterday because it was acolyte heavy over here on this channel. And Quiet Place, if you're watching this at this point, you'll have seen my out of the theater reaction for Quiet Place. So all of that, and who knows where the conversation goes on Thursday. It's one of the things that we do here. Hit that subscribe button, and let's have a party. Let's just have a full-on party. Brett's not here today. He had to get he had to do something. I'll just say that. And he asked Roxy if she could move her schedule. Roxy said, fuck you. So Brett couldn't be here today. He'll be back here next week, and Roxy will not be here. So we're trading. We'll get them back soon. That being said, comment, do everything you need to do. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. It's Roxy. It's
Couple
me. Couple things.
Number one, I did say I could move my schedule.
No, you didn't.
I said I could move it an hour earlier.
Yeah.
And then his time of his thing changed.
It's true. You know what he does now is what he says. He after he texts in the chain, his next text is to me that says, how long do you think before she responds? That's usually what he writes.
Why?
Because you take a while to respond.
That's so wild because everybody says I'm the fastest responder. I only take a while when somebody asks me to change my schedule and I need to try to change my schedule.
Everybody's wrong.
I'm like the fastest responder ever.
Sometimes. Not always.
If it's not about my schedule. If it's a question I know the answer to, because my phone is always in my hand. If it's a question I know the answer to, I respond immediately. If I don't know, but what I can start saying is, let me look.
That's fine. Yeah, like an actual response. Maybe. I'll check. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, let me check. Yeah. I definitely can. But he always asks me to change my schedule, like all the time. And I always try. It just, I have, as you know, like 15 bosses. So moving something, I knew I could move it an hour. And then I tried to see if I could move more, and I could not.
Fair enough. I think that's fair.
What was the other thing? I just need to know from Jump, because I didn't hear your conversation yet. Did you like this episode of Acolyte better, Kristian?
Better.
Okay.
Sure. Still, at this point, my spoiler review will have gone up. My initial reaction was that I said it was the worst out of the 5. That was my initial reaction. But then I watched it again and realized I was wrong. And that's people don't do that.
Why? What?
Because what I realized from watching it over was this. It has incredible fight scenes. It has incredible choreography. It's got Sith, it's got Jedi, it's got a nice little soup. The story is atrocious. It's the stuff that they do, some of the bonehead moves, and some of, like, I'll just say, without spoiling too much, haircuts. I mean, there's some really like dopey stuff going on, but I will say it's the only episode that I have reacted to, reviewed, that I've gotten so much backlash from so many people, and there were some people that were saying, the thing you do if you're a normal human being, you say, "Hey, I disagree. I like this episode. I thought it was good. I really had a great time with it. I thought it was one of the best, and I'm usually on the same page, but I'm strongly disagree with this time." I said, totally. It's some idiot face calling me, like, "Oh, this is how you weed out the misogynists and the racists." Because I didn't like an episode of Star Wars. I'm a misogynist or racist. It's like, that's the kind of abuse of, social media that people do that is so irresponsible and hurts the actual cause of what you're trying to do, that it makes it exhausting. And
I know, it has the opposite effect. Like, sometimes if you're somebody who reviews content that is extremely inclusive, and then you get backlash when you don't like that content, and then you don't want to review any content that has anybody who doesn't look or sound exactly like you anymore
Yeah.
because you just don't want to, like, it's so wild.
It's just that's they're like those people who think they're fighting for like the right cause are just as bad as the ultra hate people. They're just as bad.
Yeah, it's so fun. It's been funny on Acolyte because I just like the show, as you know.
Yeah.
Just because I like it.
You like the show. It's meant for you. You
Right.
enjoy it. It hit for you.
But the people who like it are like, right? Don't you like it? And aren't the people who don't like it crazy racist? And I'm just
Right.
like, huh, interesting. No, I just said I liked it.
Right. And it's not to say, and I've said this many times over, there's not to say that there's not those people that, if
Right.
you're just, if all you're pointing out, well, why do you have to have another black person in there? Why does everybody have to be gay? Why does that, if that's all you're harping on, if that's all you're talking about, then maybe that comment could have been directed towards you. If that's the only thing you got, then sure. I'm trying to say, I don't think the story makes a lick of sense anymore.
Yeah, you just don't like it.
It's just
the story's not for you, and the story is for me. I loved the twist. This episode saw it coming, but loved it.
Yeah,
so
I
fun.
can tell you the person involved in that twist was the best part of the show.
I love that person. I'm a fan of that person.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Good performance. Again, had to spit out some dialogue and was involved in some moments that you're like, what? But it's but I also think you've got to be able to be responsible on certain. This is the same thing that I saw other people saying. It's just like you can dislike stuff and like, oh, you just want to be part of the hate narrative. I'm like, but when I loved,
Chill.
right, you can't win. I said to somebody who said, you just hate everything, and then I said, can you do me a favor? Can you get together with the other people who call me shill all the time? And all the people who call me hater and all the people who call me shill, can you do me a favor? Can you guys have a meeting together?
Yeah, and decide.
Vote on it on like a Sunday. Have a pizza, have a blast, and then come back and tell me what the decision was. And then you guys can choose whatever you want to call me. It's like you can't. But that's what someone had asked me during a super chat or something too. It's like, how do you continue to just give your honest answers? Like, that's all you can do. That's all you can do is just give an honest opinion.
I know, because if you're not honest, you can't remember how you feel about something. Like, what did I say I felt about this thing? That was my qualms with some of our commenters last week.
What happened? What happened last week?
It's similar to what you are talking about right now. I was annoyed about the Mel Gibson.
Oh, the Mel Gibson thing. Right.
I was annoyed. I was, because I said I was annoyed, because I tell you exactly how I feel at all times that I feel them, because you're my friend, and also because I'm staring at a person who has called my people oven dodgers. So I have qualms with it. Of course I do. And I'm on this show, and he's on this show. So I spoke about it. And your argument was, which is a valid one, I like the movie and I like the character. Your argument was not, no, he's not an anti-Semite, and if you think so, then actually you're a racist.
Oh,
like some of the comments, like any of the comments who are like, separate the art from the artist, those are valid comments.
Right.
That you love the movie, that's a valid perspective. The people who were like, I can't believe you don't like this actor. He's one of the best humans in Hollywood, you piece of shit. And it's like,
did people say that on the comment section?
You didn't see some of them?
I'm usually a lot better with the comment section over the, but since the move, I just have not been able to dive into it. Yeah,
there were people who were like, you tried to make Kristian feel really bad about himself over somebody who's not even a bad person in Hollywood. There's so many bad people, and that's who you're calling a bad person. He said he isn't anti-Semitic. Let it go. And it's like every year he continues to say something that is horribly anti-Semitic, including the whatever. That's not the argument. It's just when I went to the comments, I started going back at people, and then I'm just like, wait a second, Rox.
Can't win.
No, because they're not saying art from the artist. Yeah, good placement. They are saying she's actually not that. And it's like,
right.
That's a stupid argument. That's the wrong argument.
Well, I think in general, the comments can drive you nuts. And that's why I don't know if you had an opportunity to watch any of the Jamie Campbell Bower interview.
No, I only saw the clip that you put out on your social.
So I had a chance to speak with him for like an hour, and what an awesome dude he is. But we talked about social media. We talked about post and run and all that. And like, I didn't know what to expect kind of going. And I saw his interview with with Josh Horowitz and other things too. So I kind of assumed, and from what I heard, he was a good guy and he delivered. But it's what I told you though, man. Like when we were talking about, I think our last LA show in studio together, we were like, I told you I'm making a heavy push on interviews, and I'm going to be doing interviews. We're doing more interviews. And it's like one of these things where you said, why did you, I think you asked me, why you stopped doing one-on-one or not doing as much? And I'm like, because I put so much effort into that show and I love doing it and the conversations. I'm like, I can't wait for people to watch this. That Jamie Campbell-Bower was one of my favorite interviews that I've done. I'll be honest with you, it was one of the and it was a virtual one, if you can believe that I'm saying that. And it felt like I was talking to him one-on-one. People that watched it thought I was in the room. It barely hit 10,000 views. Barely. And it's not even, I don't even think it's the 10,000. And I'm like, I get it. People don't know who he is yet, maybe. It's like, and then they're like, oh, is that Vecna from Stranger Things? Maybe because Stranger Things isn't coming out yet. But I'm like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because it's like, there's nothing you can do about it because it's like you just got to hope that people see it. People that are watching it, I'm loving the feedback and enjoy the feedback very much so. But it's like I got to keep pushing because the other thing is what I want to also make sure is that when the representatives see it, they're going, oh, well, this is a show people want to watch, so we're going to put our clients on it. It's like, oh,
maybe the audio numbers will be better.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, but it is frustrating. Did you talk to him about Twilight at all?
We didn't really talk Twilight. No, I think
that this is the thing that you hate, and this is the thing that I try to drive when you and I team up.
Yeah.
And by the way, I just watched Twilight for the first time for Real Rejects. I've never seen Twilight before.
Oh wow, that's funny.
Yeah. So when you had mentioned that he was coming on, I was like, wow, that's crazy because he's a big part of the movies. But anyway, it's the fucking clip outs.
Yeah, I know. No, I don't hate that. I love that.
With the insane fandoms,
yeah.
Like he is. The Twihards are insane.
Yeah, I should. Twilight. I should have definitely went down. Even Harry Potter, but I talked to him about I talked to him about Game of Thrones
and Stranger Things.
And we talked about Stranger Things for like 25 minutes, almost like a half an hour, and we talked about Game of Thrones because you know his story with Game of Thrones. So he was cast in the pilot of Game of Thrones, and then I can't remember the character's name, but he was cast in the pilot, and then he was going to take it. But by the time they greenlit it and it was going to go, he had already committed to Starz to do a show. So he couldn't do the original Game of Thrones. So then fast forward to 2019, they're doing the prequel with Cate Blanchett, right? And they wound up canceling that show and not doing it. But he was cast in it, shot the pilot, it didn't happen. So we talked about Game of Thrones for a bit, and then we talked about how that led to Stranger Things because had he gotten that 2019 show and had it kept going, he would have never gotten Stranger Things. And we talked about that, whether or not he returned to Westeros, and whether it's House of the Dragon, whatever it might be. We talked about he's very open about his past addiction and how he's been sober for I can't remember, even 12 or 13 years, I think he said. He talked about social media and the power of it. We talked about the Haktua girl, for God's sakes, Roxy. You don't know? You know about
I saw your clip out.
But did you know about the Haktua girl before I told you? You hadn't seen it? Wow. Okay. So she's everywhere. She's like the most famous person in the world right now. But anyway, we talked about her. We talked about just tons of stuff. And I'm going to be clipping out. I clipped out the Game of Thrones thing. I'm going to clip out more of the Stranger Things. And I'm just hoping that, like it used to.
Yeah, the clip outs will help. It's just like, sometimes I feel like you can either have a really great interview or you can have an interview that gets seen by a lot of people.
Right.
And sometimes it feels like you can't do both. Like it's the questions like that put people's backs against the wall. Like what's the better franchise, Harry Potter or Twilight, Stranger Things or Game of Thrones, whatever, like that publicists and celebs don't necessarily love, and it's not as like enticing of a long form interview, but as we know, those are the things that get the clicks. Like all the stuff that got clipped out from our Collider Live show were all the things that were like the more salacious.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, definitely. And there's certain times, and I think there's things in that interview that can get clipped out and get picked up for sure. And
they'll do well then.
Yeah, I think that they should. What
are you doing with your publicists right now? Are you sending these out?
Not publicists. You mean the bookers?
No.
Oh, I don't have a publicist anymore.
So also, like, you got to be sending out the quotes to people so that they publish them on their websites.
True. I guess what I used to. Well, yeah. I mean, I have no more bandwidth. I have no more bandwidth. It's like
that if you want to be focusing on interviews,
I know
it's the booking, it's the actual interviews, and then it's the post, which is the clip outs and the sending out of the press release.
Right. And I think that it's the clip outs themselves. It's like that's the other thing is I don't have a clips channel, and I'm not going to make a clips channel yet until I get more.
Yeah, where are you going to put them?
Well, I'm going to put them on the channel, but I have to space them out because I don't want to bombard the audience, right? So like yesterday I had a few videos go out and I put one clip out, which is the Game of Thrones one. I was like, oh, I'll put another clip out today. And I'm like, I can't do that because I had my first reaction to Acolyte that came out last night. Then this morning I put my full reaction of actually watching it. And then there's the spoiler review that is up with Mike and Steph, and then my Quiet Place out of the theater reaction. So that was Wednesday. So it's possible that today I already have another clip out of Jamie. I'm not sure. And I'll probably wind up putting them up during the weekend because the thing with clip outs, as you and I have seen with Collider Live, they can start out slow and then you wake up one morning and they have 100,000 views, because they caught on and it could be 3 months later. So
same thing with social posts.
Same thing with the social post. So it's like, so it's just, you just want people to watch it because it was just such a really good conversation. And that's why, and that's kind of why.
I know, but you need to get them in the door another way, and then they can watch. I know. It's a good conversation. I know we've spoken about this, but why won't you get an intern?
Well, because first of all, I don't know if it's the same rules. You said it's free interns, and I can't do free interns. I feel bad about it in the first place.
It's not that it's free. It's that they need to be enrolled in school credit, so they're getting credit for it.
Mm-hmm. What am I? What I need is you. I just don't have. I don't have enough. I don't have enough to
That's
make you.
That's true. You do.
I need you. I just don't have. I don't have the budget yet to make you move to New York. Here's a question: if I had a lot of money, like if I had 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers, and we were making enough money where I could say, "Hey, Roxy, I'll pay you to relocate to New York," would you do it?
I mean, it would have to be so much money because I would need to keep flying here for my auditions.
Well, not necessarily. You can audition. You can audition on virtual.
Yeah, a lot of it is self-tape these days, but a lot of things. And you know what's crazy is that I'm up for possibly 2 movies this year that are shooting in New York, which is like...
Right. Exactly.
The second that I move there, it will be LA again.
Yeah. Well, I get more interview requests now than I did before. I tell you that I have a bunch of stuff already kind of lined up, which and people who are going to be able to come into the studio, which is great.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like it is like were big in LA, but I think it's going to be easier for you to be big in New York because your show is so big. And here there's so many shows that are so big for press tours. Mm-hmm. But when people are in New York, I feel like yours is going to become one of the it stops.
You know who I almost caught, but I'm going to be out of town. I feel like you'll like this because I think you're a fan, Rob Delaney.
Oh, really?
He's going to come in studio, but he's here when I'm not. I have to go to.
Where are you going?
I have to go somewhere for like a weekend.
But not here?
No, not in LA.
If you were coming to LA, would you tell me?
Of course I would tell you. Why wouldn't I tell you?
I don't know. Maybe you're busy.
Why wouldn't I tell you?
That's a bummer. Rob Delaney's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. I said yes right away. I was like, would you want to talk to Rob? I'm like, yeah.
Are we talking about it or are we not talking about it?
What are we talking about?
Are we talking about it or are we not talking about it?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it's not. I can't say what I'm talking about.
Well, here, wait. You know what I'll do? I'll tell you when you can.
You know what I'm talking about.
I really don't. You don't understand. My brain's mush.
What are you and I doing?
Talking. Oh, our interview. Yeah, you can talk about our interview. Sure. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You can talk. You can bring that up. What are we playing charades over here? It's like, what are we doing? I don't know. What are we doing? We're doing something. Think about it. What do you say? What color? What am I thinking of?
I feel like we shouldn't announce who yet, but just the fact that you and I have a potential interview coming up until we know for sure.
I'm past it. I'm past it now, where it's like we can say who it's lined up to be at the moment, and if it's not, it's like this. I feel like this is going to happen a few different times where we're going to have somebody we'll say who it is. It'll get canceled. We'll get somebody else. But I think that we're pretty excited about this guest. You want to but
Yeah,
you go ahead.
100%.
You go ahead and tell us.
This is somebody who's crazy. I've been a fan of for so long now because of social media. It's one of the only things that ever came out of TikTok that actually was good for me. Sam Morril is a dynamite stand-up comedian. We are going to be interviewing him hopefully next week. He is ridiculously funny, but he blew up on TikTok. Like, you know how the comedian, he's one of the first comedians I saw who started putting out his set pieces constantly there. And then you would see him on bigger stages and bigger stages. And like now Netflix is a joke. I mean, always like headlining so many different shows. I have friends from all over. He's an East Coast guy, but like I have friends from all over who are nonstop talking about going to his shows. I've never seen him live. And now I'm going to be able to be like, I actually interviewed him, which I'm stoked about.
And we'll take a look at he's got a new special coming out. So, and we'll be interviewing him.
Yeah. You sent it to me, right?
Not yet. I didn't get it yet. When we get it, we'll.
So it's not out because you told me, and then I was like, "Where is it?"
Not out yet. So they're going to send it to us so we can take a look. So, and
He's
I told
so
Roxy,
funny, ridiculously funny.
Well, that was also the thing is that what I was very happy with, and I don't know if you've noticed this and you saw this in the comments, minus the Braveheart stuff, but did you see the other comments? I didn't even realize you guys weren't in studio, and the program that we're using right now, it doesn't distort the way that StreamYard does. You can play as if we're having a conversation back and forth, and it has been that people. So a lot of people thought Jamie and I were in the same room, which is great.
That is very cool. I have a different opinion.
Okay, which is
I want more bells and whistles.
Such as?
Like the way that our stuff was just 3 different boxes.
Yeah.
I like some pizzazz.
Yeah, I mean, we're right now.
Like a logo.
Yeah, we had a logo. I have a logo.
In the corner?
Yeah, it's in the corner.
I don't remember seeing it.
Well, it's there.
You sure?
Positive. Put it on every show. Yeah. It's there right now. I'm looking at it right now.
Just more pizzazz. Okay, let me look.
Yeah, there's and remember the other thing is
Brett. I remember thinking it just looked plain Jane.
Yeah.
To me.
Well,
and I wish we were matching more, which we will. It's all growing.
Brett's gonna fix your shot. He's gonna fix my shot. He's gonna fix all this stuff. And my brother actually said the same thing. I got to get in touch with Brian Ward, and I got to see if he make like a screen for us, like a layout, the old one that I have, it was built more so for StreamYard, and I don't want something too busy. I just want something with.
Yeah, but like pizzazz, right?
Yeah, sure.
Like it doesn't have to be like fancy, but just like
something like a layer or something. I agree. I agree.
Oh yeah, you're right. The logos in the bottom.
But I'm talking more so of just the actual how if you notice in like StreamYard when you talk, like right now, what just happened not 10 seconds ago, you and I could, but it's the same way that if we were in studio, if you talk over each other, oh wait, stop. In StreamYard, it's like that bit of a delay. You talk over each other, oh wait, and it's distorted, and there's a lot of different programs that are like that. But this, to me, it's just way more clear. It's easier, and it works out for me. So like when you were telling me your concerns, which were I understood. Are
still 100% concerned.
No, but that's another reason why I feel like we'll be able to do more interviews together, because it was a concern of mine when it was like if it was ever StreamYard or any of that type of thing, because like I would never do a joint interview on StreamYard. I just never would do it. I can't get your quality the way it looks right now. I can't get the sound the way it is. I can't guarantee that we're not going to talk over the guest. So I would like that.
2 is nice. The 2 shot is nice. The 3 gives my symmetrical brain a little bit of an aneurysm. Like I
changed a little bit. I changed a little. Yeah.
3.
Well, I changed. I went to what I think, and I was off of a suggestion of the viewer. I was on the right-hand side, the way that I set it up, with you and Brett on the left-hand side. And now I switched over. I'm on the left. You and Brett are on the right. But I like to try to do mostly one shots when you guys are talking in the same, like you'll see most of the Jamie interview, like when he spoke, I just put him on there, unless there was like, we laughed a lot during that interview. So like, I wanted to make sure people saw us kind of laughing and doing that type of thing. So it's easy. It's just kind of 3 buttons. And if I need to go between me, you, myself there, and then It's pretty simple.
My other qualm, because I like this show is the show that I open up about all my qualms.
That's right.
When we were in person,
Mm-hmm.
I always in the corner of my eye would see what shot you were on.
Mm.
I like to be aware.
Right.
I like to know when you're with us, when you're not, especially if we ever need to like say something again, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It just is more helpful, or like to even play things up or whatever, like stares at Brett when Brett's on the when I know I'm there, and I can't see that here.
I know. That's the only thing with this.
Drives me nuts.
I understand that, but the one thing that I do love about it when we go live, if we ever went live, is it keeps you guys out of the comments, which I love. Like you wouldn't be able to see the comments. Which
I would still look at the comments.
You wouldn't really be able to see them. Well, you can see. I'm talking about live comments.
I would look at them on my YouTube on my phone.
And then I would be upset with you.
No, it's very important to me that they know my number one most important relationship is with the audience.
Well, yeah, but not during a show. Not during a show. But
I love to know.
Well, we're going to be able to do some more interviews, me and you. Because
I'm stoked about that. This is so exciting for us.
I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good to kind of get those going. And then my goal is that if we can get this show really as a number one hub for interviews and start getting the type of guests like a Jamie Campbell Bower and more people, and just keep getting and Sam and more.
Yeah, Sam's huge. He has a million followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like he's a big guest.
Yeah. So like to be able to do that and to be able to get people like that and more people like that, I want to get to a place. I know that I'm at a place where I'm going to say to both you and Brett, the time has come. The audience has spoken. We are now successful enough that I can offer you guys jobs in the East Coast. You got to move.
I would say there's a 0.0001 chance I would ever do that.
With the right amount of money?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think that's true.
It's not my dream.
But if you were doing this and we had big interviews all of the time and you were able to audition, do your auditions.
I just love LA and my grandparents are here.
Yeah,
and
that's tough. That's the tough part. That's the tough part.
There's just no world. Like perhaps in 10 years, but not in the next 10 years.
I'm still, I want to see what happens in the next 5. And in that 5, if we get to a place where I can, God willing, say, hey, here's the deal. Brett wouldn't want to leave either. And then I would say, here's the deal. Here's X amount. You're on salary. You got this. You got health insurance. You got it all. And we're going to
come back to LA.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm still obsessed with it here. Like
fair.
I'm not in the phase where I'm like, I want to leave. And I'm definitely not in a phase where I can go to the burbs. Like I would have to be a city girl.
In the city and you take a train in. I have to go to the city today.
And I love New York City, but I'm not doing the cold again for a long time.
That's fair. I was hanging out with Dan Murrell in the city.
I saw. How was your show?
It was fun. It was really good. It was a nice venue. It's great to hang out with Dan. I love Dan. And
he's an awesome dude.
He's the best. And so we just hung out.
Was Mar there?
Say what?
Mar there?
No. So we went to, it was just he and I, and we went to, beforehand, we were hanging out. We were walking through the city for a little bit, and then we were going to get, because we thought we had to be there at a certain time, and we were supposed to be, but then the guy who was running the show was like, they did a sound check already. You guys are good. You don't really have to get here until half an hour before the show. So we're like, okay, because we stopped for like a slice of pizza, and then we're like, well, where should we go? So we found like this little pub and just hung out. It was happy hour. There was a really nice, there was a viewer who watches the show who was there, bought us both a beer, which was very nice. And we just had a couple beers, went back. It was a very relaxed show, great audience, bunch of questions, good laughs. It was a really good spot. I had a really good time. It was like nice and peaceful. And it was just, it was like a podcast on stage with just Dan and I. And it was, it was about an hour and 20 minutes, took some questions. It was great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really good.
That's so great.
You know what's up?
Where was the video that I saw of you being like, I'm going on Dan Murrell's show? And he was like, I'm going on Kristian's show, whatever.
When was that? Is that recent?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of where I saw it. I just thought it was so cute. Your guys' dynamic. Like you were trying to say, like, this is Dan's show. He invited me on, and he was like, it's your show.
That was right. That was the that was for the Instagram post that we did. Yeah.
It was so cute.
Okay,
you guys did a good job with that.
Yeah, it was fun, and that was at the pub. I think we were at the pub when we did that. Yeah. So
great.
It was great. It was really good to do. But
what does Dan Murrell drink?
What did we have? I think we just had whatever, some like, what the hell was it? It was like, was it a Stella? I think we just had Stellas. I think we had 2 Stellas. That's all it was when we were there. We just had 2 beers.
Matching beers, twinning.
That was it. You know what else is amazing, Roxy? Have you tried Cremo body wash?
Tell me about it.
I'm going to tell you about it right now. Here it is, Cremo body wash. You can't try it, but I'll tell you about it. There you go. So let's talk about Cremo. So it's a body wash that I just got introduced to not too long ago, but I love it. And why? I've been working hard, and when I get and it's been hot. It's been hot. I'm stink like an alley cat, but I want to just go home. I want to take a shower. I want to relax, and I really like to just enjoy it and say, "Oh, I feel good. I feel clean." When my wife was like, "What are you wearing? Is it a new cologne?" I didn't buy any new cologne. I said, "No, it's this new body wash that I got from Cremo." You want to elevate and you want to enhance your hygiene routine with Cremo body wash. It combines a rich lathering and hydrating formula with meticulously balanced, multi-layered fragrances for a superior shower experience. You really do just feel wonderful. You got that regular shower. It makes it feel like a luxury experience. You got the bourbon vanilla body wash right away after stinking up the joint. I was like, oh, I smell good. They have a new bourbon vanilla men's body wash, which is great, and it's worth trying out. It's like you never tried it with the scent. You'll step out of the shower and you're gonna feel like a new man. I promise you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good. And what makes it different is that it's got a distinct layered scent, and it evolves as you wash. It's great. Nice. You can find the Cremo men's body wash in its new distinctive bourbon vanilla scent at Walmart. If you go to walmart.com, that's it. Just go to Walmart or walmart.com. So make sure you check it out. It's Cremo. They're the best. So you're gonna love them. And I got to tell you about AG1. You guys know AG1. I mean, if you've been listening to this show long enough, you know that I love AG1. And people keep asking me. They notice. John even said when I started, new look, 20 pounds I lost. One of those reasons, AG1 became part of my routine. Because for a long time, I wasn't paying attention to what was going on in my body. It just wasn't. For me, I read labels. I verify that everything is up to the quality I need. And that is why I've stayed with AG1 for as long as I have. It is a research-backed foundational nutrition supplement, and it delivers daily nutrients, gut health support, and it's backed by multiple research studies so you can trust what you're putting into your body. Because I like coffee. I used to drink so much coffee to keep up, but I don't need it anymore, not as much. Because after drinking AG1, I have realized that I have all this energy and I need less coffee to power my day. It turns out I'm not alone. Because in a research study, 91% of people noticed they needed less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. 97% of people in a research study felt more energy after 30 days of drinking AG1. That's crazy. 91% of participants noticed that they need less coffee after 60 days of drinking AG1. That's me. Energy is a majorly important reason why it comes to I need so much energy for parenting. I can tell you that right now. AG1 contains ingredients, sustain energy, so you can be the best version of yourself within each day. And it really has worked for me, and it's helped me on the plane, everything. It's easy, it's satisfying to start your journey with AG1. But if you go to AG1, and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3, K2, and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. You got to go to drinkag1.com/bigthing. drinkag1.com/bigthing. It's the one product I trust to support my whole body health. It's AG1. All right. Thank you to both Cremo and AG1. So excited to have them both on board. As always, if you want to support the show, if you can support the show, get yourself something. Get yourself one of our wonderful sponsors. Every single time we sign up with people that we think you guys are going to enjoy. So make sure you go over there, check it out.
I've been having some really weird dreams recently. I actually texted a friend yesterday. I had this horrible nightmare that we got in a knockout, drag out fight about stuff.
Fist fight?
Yeah. No. Verbal fight.
Okay.
And then all day yesterday, I'm sitting kind of fuming at her. And then I'm sitting down eating dinner last night, and I was like, I have to talk to my friend. And then I was like,
it was a dream.
And I hadn't realized until nighttime. All of a sudden, I was like, oh my God. Subconscious all day, I've kind of thought about it, and then but never really thought about it.
Right. Well, let me ask you a question then. Have you ever had a dream about somebody, whether it was it didn't have to be all the way sexual or sensual or whatever. Or let's say even it was like a kiss or something, right? Of someone you never even like someone like, oh, that person. Do you find yourself like, am I attracted to that person? Maybe you didn't even like. Does that happen all the time?
I definitely ask myself that question if it ever happens with somebody that is like I'm clearly not, then it doesn't come up. But if it's a cusp person and then like there's a sexy dream about them, then you're like not necessarily a sex dream, just a sexy dream about them.
Right.
And then I'll be like, huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It just like sticks in your head for a second. You're like, oh, okay.
But you know what? It's been so long since I had a sexy dream.
I mean, it's been forever since.
I can't even have sexy dreams anymore.
I know. You don't even get those.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Talking about my sex life for a second.
Yeah, sure.
So, giving Hinge a shot again, see how it goes, yada, yada, yada.
Sure.
Doubt it's going to go well because I just think I'm a setup girly, but all right. So, back on there, I was talking to this guy in our first conversation. One of those conversations where you're not going to know what I'm talking about.
Right. Where'd you go?
I'm here. I'm just looking at you. Click, type, not pay attention.
I'm paying attention to you. I was doing something while
I was
just
doing
for a
that
second.
to you right now.
I would be upset, but I had to. There was something that popped up. I'm listening to what you're saying. Don't worry, I can still do both.
What popped up?
Shush. Now you're gonna ruin. See, you just ruined the vibe.
I ruined the vibe. Gaslighting 101.
No, I wasn't. I was doing something that was relevant. Go ahead, do it. Talk.
You were pulling up big balls.
No, I was not.
Okay. Were you not?
You don't pull up big balls, baby. You whip them out. Yeah, Roxy. Roxy, let me ask you a simple question.
Yep.
Why is it that every time Brett motherfucking Sheridan's on the show and I try to put my little ass in there, you just ignore me like we didn't have our thing?
Are you implying something about me and Brett?
No, not you and Brett. Me and you. You know that I'm the best.
I don't think that.
Hey,
I don't feel that way.
You don't fight it. You know you had the dream about me, and that's what happened.
Certainly not.
That's right.
And
then you said, is it weird because he's a chipmunk? Is it weird? I said, ain't it weird, girl? Come on, let's go get a donut.
I would institutionalize myself if I had a sex dream about you.
That's some fucked up shit, man.
I would.
You don't even think anymore. You just hurt. Why do you do that to me when I'm just living?
Because I can't stand you.
Is this true? You know that they said, when they did a poll, they said, should you keep big balls? 87% said, keep that little motherfucker.
Then I only like 13% of our audience.
Yeah, I lied. We didn't do the poll, but still, that's what they would say. That's
You're a
what
liar. Then a cheat.
Oh, but that makes you jealous?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go.
Do you want to hear my actual life story?
Sure, let's go out to dinner. Tell me.
No, not you.
Oh.
Yeah, please tell me.
I'm not going to tell you now.
Why?
It's been stripped from you.
Oh. All right, now tell me.
You don't get my good stories when you big balls.
I don't control him. He comes by, and he found his way in the suitcase, and he lives
Anyway,
here.
what's happening with Lord of the Rings or whatever?
One of the rings. The fuck are you talking about?
I don't know.
Fantastic Four? All right, you want to do? Tell me about your story. Come on. Come on.
Put your hands up.
Come on. What are you like, my wife?
Keep them up.
No.
I'm going to tell you about my story if you keep your hands up.
Okay, come on. It is. I'm doing it.
Okay. Why are you doing it like that?
Because I'm showing you both my hands.
I see your other one.
What do you mean? What are you looking at?
What are you, John Cena?
Come on. Let's go. I don't even know what I was trying to find before. It must not have been that important.
Okay, so here's what happened.
Okay.
We're having one of those conversations where you're talking to somebody like for hours.
Yeah.
This happens sometimes on Hinge where you're really hitting it off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he said like a extremely vulgar comment to me.
Such as?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but something along the lines of like, you're going to get brain damage from how hard your head hits the back of the... We were not talking about anything sexual. Like,
wait.
Like,
how does that even? How does that even come up?
I'm not fucking with you, Kristian.
How does that even come? Wait, so you guys are talking like at dinner, just normally, and then he just
Not dinner. No, it was on Hinge.
at Hinge, but he just brings it up and says,
You're not paying attention. You thought we were at dinner.
I
That's
was.
what happens when you multitask.
"No, I was trying to find something out, but yeah, I figured it out now, so we're good."
Oh, I'm so happy for you.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so you're on Hinge and you're looking back and forth on your messages, and then out of nowhere he says you're gonna get brain damage.
Something that literally about brain damage.
But how does
from like sex or something?
So he wasn't trying anymore. He was just trying to be offensive.
No, I have no idea what happened. So I just wrote to him like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
that was unbelievably vulgar, and maybe you got the wrong idea about me. Don't know where that could have come from."
Yeah. What did he write back?
He was like, "I am so sorry that I offended you. It was a joke. I hope that doesn't stop this conversation."
What's wrong with people? I don't know how
you
do
can't
it.
just say anything's a joke, like
Right.
anytime anybody, and he didn't offend me, he turned me off.
Right.
I was like, that was so.
Well,
I
you don't
wasn't
know it. You don't.
offended.
It's like you don't know who he is.
I don't
and
know
it's
who
like,
you are.
It's like
I've
he's
never
not
met you.
right. So he's not in the middle of like me, you, and Brett have known each other for years, and like last year, the whole annihilation conversation, which was hilarious.
Hysterical.
But we brought it up in a way where like, okay, and it wasn't, and we're not trying to date you. We're just
Right.
two
You're my
asshole
friends.
like
You're my
bigger
homies who are
brothers.
shooting the shit.
Right.
This is the person I've never met
Right.
who, in the middle of not talking about anything sexual
Just
at all,
brings it
said
up.
this.
Right. It's like, hey, did you watch that episode of the of that show last night? By the way, can you? No, see, I can't even say.
I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It's
that's pretty
just like such a turnoff.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I find that men.
So where'd you guys go out?
What'd you say?
Where'd you guys go out afterwards? It's a joke.
I was gonna say, you're really not listening.
I heard you. Where'd you?
But this happens all the time on dating apps where it's so weird. Like in the person's bio, it will say what your intentions are, and it will be like serious relationship or like finding my life partner or marriage, whatever. And then because I don't match with anybody who says figuring out my relationship goals or non-monogamy.
Sure.
I don't match with anybody like that because I think you should know what you want at this
Right.
point.
Yeah.
I'm only dating people in their 30s and 40s. So why don't you know what you want? I'm not saying we need to do that immediately, but know what you want.
Sure.
So it's like, why all the time these men within the first conversation or second conversation, it's about sex, and I find it to be repulsive. Like,
especially at that age. It's like,
Right.
it's like,
you're not fucking 22.
Yeah, 22, 23 years old. It's like, all right, get a handle on yourself, pal, but I get it.
We're not on Tinder. And
Right.
why spend all night talking to me and then be like, you're going to get brain damage from how hard your head is going to hit the bedpost? It's
That's such a bad thing in general. It's like, wow. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you.
So then I think I'm going to get off Hinge again. I was on for one night.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this conversation is going great. I can't wait to meet
And
this
then,
person.
and then out of
Seems so
nowhere.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, what the fuck? Like, be chill. And then he was like, because he's not from this country, he was like, he's Aussie. So I don't mean not from this country as in English isn't his first language. He was like, oh, sorry. I think we just have a more vulgar sense of humor. And it's like, it was out of nowhere.
It's just bad time. It's like, yeah, no, bad timing. Real bad timing. Anyway, well, I'm sorry that happened to you.
Oh, thank you. Okay, make your joke now.
No joke. Just sorry that happened to you. Mm-hmm. Try not to bang your head on the way up.
It's so funny working with you and Brett and honestly, even Kate and Mark and Annie, I can see it.
Like, it's stirring.
I can see it. And sometimes you guys decide to say it and sometimes you don't decide to say it.
Yeah, I had a lot before that I didn't let go.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because it's layups. I think I'm somebody who has a lot to joke about. And I can watch the wheels turning like, okay, so how do I put together this joke? Oh, no, I found it. Now, do I say it or do I just keep it in? Oh, okay, I'll keep it in this time.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's what happens sometimes. It's a lot of different people having conversations in there. Sometimes they scream out.
Oh.
Sometimes they don't.
Different people.
Yeah. It's like the emotions in Inside Out. How about that fucking movie?
I haven't seen it.
Still?
Kristian, I haven't seen one movie this month. When I tell you, and I know that you've been like, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Which I totally hear. But like, yesterday I woke up at 2:30 a.m.
Why?
for my day and went to bed at 2 a.m. last night.
So yeah,
I don't have a minute to breathe.
what the hell are you doing? You don't get so you get 4 hours of sleep?
What kind of math is that?
2:30. You woke up at 6:30.
I didn't say anything about 6:30.
Oh.
Two.
You went to bed at 2 and then woke up at what time?
2:30.
You went from 2 to 2? You woke up at you slept for 12 hours?
30 minutes.
Oh, never mind. You haven't slept. You only slept a half an hour.
My life right now is like fucking asinine.
You're working
insane.
on a half an hour sleep right now.
For 2 days in a row, Kristian.
That's not
For
healthy.
2 days in a row. I know.
That's really
and
not.
I don't drink coffee.
Yeah, it's really not good for you. Minus the coffee. That's not good
I'm
for
on
you.
the phone with my manager, and I was like, he was talking to me about some project. And I was like, sorry, can you repeat that? I'm honestly running on no sleep right now. And he was like, I do not think that is the flex that you think it is.
No, it's not.
And I was like, I don't think it's a flex. He was like, it's not cool. Get sleep.
Get sleep.
I'm fucking trying.
No, clearly you're not.
Oh my God.
What was going on that you had to stay up till 2:30 in the morning last night?
I wasn't up till 2:30. I woke up at 2:30.
But what I don't understand anymore. What time did you go to sleep?
2.
Okay, so that's like okay. So let me rephrase. What were you doing until 2 in the morning?
Working. Working.
What do you mean you were working?
So, okay, at 2:30, I had to drive to the hospital.
Okay.
So, I didn't have to go to the hospital until 3:30, but I had to go pick somebody up, bring them.
Right.
So I had to get up at 2:30. Before that, I had to get all the stuff done that I was not getting done for the next day for my 50 jobs, which I have.
Okay. Well, listen, I have other things that I've suggested to you off air that I still think you should consider.
In what hours?
No, but cut some stuff out because you got to get you're gonna lose your marbles.
I know. This is why I was like, who did that? Who did that?
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping right now.
Anyway, well, we need to get the TV stuff.
Right now you want to do it?
I think so. We'll do the Fantastic Four thing in a second, and then we'll do the TV stuff. But before we do, I have to tell you about Built. Very excited about Built because you guys have been paying attention to Built because they came back, and they want to keep coming back because you guys are paying attention and you're getting it. So let me tell you a little bit about Built right now. Here you go. All right, you know what stinks? When you're stuck in a loop of rent payments, you're just watching your money vanish into thin air. It's the worst. It's time to turn the rent game around and start earning some serious rewards. How do you do that? That is where Built Rewards comes in. Built is breaking ground as the first rewards program that hooks you up with points on your rent. Doesn't matter, even if you're rocking the old school rent check vibes, Built Rewards, it's got your back. They're going to mail the check for you. It's like basically having a personal rent paying assistant. It's the best. Every month, you pay your rent and you watch the points roll in. Use points to jet off on a dream vacation. Put your points towards a flight or a hotel stay with 500 plus airlines and 700,000 plus hotels and properties. Pay rent hassle-free through the Built Rewards app. Your rent game just got a major upgrade. Earn points by paying rent right now when you go to joinbuilt.com/bigthing. That is joinbilt.com/bigthing. So as always, click the button, get the sponsors. It helps out the show tremendously, and you get something great in the process. Roxy, we're going to bring up this story here. All right, let's do a news story. We haven't done one of those in quite a while. Kevin Feige talks Fantastic Four and setting Wonder Man. Marvel has announced the launch today of the official Marvel podcast, which is an audio series that begins with a brief 15-minute interview with Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige didn't make any major revelations in it, but there were a couple of little interesting bits of news to emerge from the interview. Asked what he personally was most excited in the Marvel, he said it's Fantastic Four, and he says, I'm extremely excited because those characters are mainstays. They're legendary pillars of the Marvel universe that we've ever got to play with or explore in any significant way outside of Multiverse of Madness and some fun teases before. Feige also essentially confirmed the rumors that it's a period piece, one likely set in an alternate universe version of 1960s New York City, which sounds akin to something like the Jetsons. He said it's a period piece, and there's another piece of art we released with Johnny Storm flying in the air and making a 4 symbol, and there was a cityscape in the corner of that image. And there were a lot of smart people who noticed that the cityscape didn't look like the New York we knew and the New York that existed in the 60s in our world. So those are smart observations. Feige says the filming begins shooting at the end of July, specifically the Monday after Comic-Con weekend ends. So expect the cast to show up in San Diego for the confab. Indeed, Deadline reported today the studio will be returning to Hall H after missing it last year. Feige said Marvel's always trying to innovate, and doing so teased the new Wonder Man series starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen. When you stop trying to innovate, that's when you start to atrophy. I think it's important to tell new and unique stories in new and interesting ways. We have a show coming up that we've talked about very little called Wonder Man that I won't talk about much today, except to say that it's extremely different than anything we've done before. It's very exciting to be part of a company for 25 years and more and still be able to do new things and to take characters and new storylines to new places. That's what is exciting. I think the biggest news that comes out of that is that Fantastic Four is going to be in the 70s and that it's in a different multiverse, which would make sense considering you haven't ever seen them in the original, Avengers timeline and all that. And that
60s, Kristian.
Yeah, what I say, 70s? Yeah,
Yep.
60s. So the 60s takes place in the 60s, and it would also, if it took place in the 60s, where the hell were they? When Hank Pym was running around in the 80s, if it's the 60s, how the hell are they going to be involved in the, when it comes to the stuff that they're making, the current timeline? Well, they'll probably be involved in the secret wars and all that kind of shit. So, makes sense.
I know some people don't love when they do this. I love when they do this. It's the whole point of playing in a comic book land where you can do this, tell whatever story you want, because it could have taken place in a different universe at a different time.
Right.
And you don't have to justify why people weren't helping with big bads. The 60s are one of my favorite time periods to explore. They better have a bomb.com soundtrack for this.
Yeah.
Just all exciting. Hair, makeup, outfits, everything. I'm really looking forward to this. And I also think this will really differentiate it from the previous Fantastic Four movies, which have not done particularly well. This will make it stand out. They're not trying to do what they've previously done. They're doing something different. And I think that's great. And I also think that they're prepping the audience for it really well.
Yeah, I think, and it's a great cast. So yes. I'm excited to see how it's going to play for sure. And you're right. You're dead on with the hair and the makeup and everything too, because it doesn't matter how big the budget is, because there's been tons of big budget movies that have gotten the hairstyles wrong. I cannot tell you how much of a pet peeve it is of mine where I can see
the wig,
but like a 2000s hairstyle in the 60s, like that. Who's wearing that? Like there's sometimes I just saw something recently. It's like it was supposed to be in this time period, and you're like, that haircut is something I will see if I walk out the street right now. And that does not put me in that place. It takes me out of it. There was some of the hairstyles in that show that you liked, the one with the one with Austin Butler in the freaking
Masters of the Air.
Yes, his hairstyle. What hairstyle is that? What hairstyle is that? That's not from that era, from the 40s. What? Like that kind of stuff. And so I hope that they get that right. Like Stranger Things is something. Speaking of Stranger Things, nails the 80s in every which way. Hairstyles, music, clothing, atmosphere, everything. Like that's the kind of stuff that I hope that they do in this for sure.
I do find it to be particularly difficult because if we were doing a movie right now today, you and I are like, we're making a movie and it's set in 2024. A lot of people now, myself included, don't dress like I'm from 2024. I'm dressed like I'm stuck in the 90s. Always have been. So there are people who don't dress of their era.
Right.
And that happens all the time. But when you're making a period piece, it's like those people need to be the few and far between, not the standard. So it is difficult because sometimes people will be like, what is that 70s haircut doing on an 80s person? And it's like, well, maybe that person from the 80s is stuck in the 70s. Like,
yeah, but that's tough though.
That's not what you were saying about Masters of the Air.
No.
That's different because they are in the 40s having haircuts from 2024.
Right.
Not haircuts from the past.
Right. So, he can't, that's Austin Butler's agent going, he's got another movie coming up. Right. He ain't cutting his hair.
Right. So I'm not justifying what you're talking about. I'm just saying it is with period pieces.
Sometimes, as long as they look like they fit in the place. But and the other side of it is I hadn't even heard of they're doing a Marvel podcast. That makes sense that they would do that. Who's hosting that show? Do we know? How come Coy isn't?
Yeah, I know, that's a great question.
Like,
Maybe it is him.
Who? No, he would tell us. But who? Let's see. Host of the Marvel podcast. Who's hosting the Marvel podcast? Like, Preeti Shabir and Langston Belton.
So, okay,
You know who that is?
I'm just going to say this right now,
Sure.
point blank.
Sure.
I don't know either of them. They might both be absolutely amazing. I don't understand when they announce things like this, how you and I could possibly not know the host. Like, I was thinking, oh, maybe this will be BD, like Brendan Davis, comic book. Maybe this will be Coy. Maybe this will be. There's so many people that we know that this is their world, and it's like, who are those two people?
I don't know. Let me see. Preeti Shabir. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe she's got a big following. I don't know who she is. Let's see. Decent. And then the other person is Langston Belton. Yeah, I don't know Langston either. So I'm not sure. I don't know the answer to that question. I mean,
they're diehard fans.
That's ultimately what it could be. Is that it could be that they came in, auditioned, and said, "Hey, they really know their stuff." But no, I'm not sure who either is. But I wonder how the podcast is going to be.
Yeah, Langston Belton is host at Marvel.
So they probably did like red carpets and stuff too, and then moved over to do this podcast. Is what I would assume. But either way, the podcast.
Well, at least from looking at his Instagram, it seems like he wears like Marvel clothes.
Yeah, he's probably a hardcore fan.
Marvel events.
Yeah.
Good.
Well,
I just don't like when they hire like good hosts that aren't diehard fans for these things.
Yeah, well, it seems like they. Yeah, it seems like
yeah, but they are.
They know what they are. All right, let's stick with the multiverse thing because we're talking about that with seems like in Fantastic Four. That's what it's going to be. You talk about the best multiverse thing I've seen, and I can't even tell you how long, and that's Dark Matter. It's just. Did you watch the finale?
Yeah, of course.
I did not see the finale yet, so
did I not put this on my list to you?
You might have.
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, but so
okay.
All right, so let's start. So yeah, so we'll start with Dark Matter. Did the finale deliver? I'll ask you that.
I think it did. I really loved this finale. It seems like a season finale, not a series finale.
Is it supposed to be a series finale?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But so I'm just saying, like, I think I'll be disappointed if the show is canceled because it was clearly leading to something I'm interested about.
Good. I love the show.
I love the show too. But the other thing I will say is that this last 2 episodes, convoluted is too tough of a word.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
There's just a lot.
The beginning of episode 7, you're like, wait, what? Huh?
Yeah.
What? And but I think it does a very good job of going, wait, just listen to what they're saying. You get it now? And I think that's because I was like,
sense.
It makes sense. At first, you're like, wait, what the hell is going on?
But in this finale, in episode, I think it's 9.
Yeah, 9. It's 9.
Is like,
right. Sorry,
it's overwhelming.
Okay.
Because it's hard to keep track of what you're
everything.
Watching.
Right.
And so I had to like a couple times pause and rewind and be like, wait a second, is that? Oh, okay.
I know exactly what you're saying without even having to say it. But yeah, for sure. But I can't wait to watch it. I almost started it last night.
You're going to really like it, I think.
Okay.
It's great.
And then the other one, you haven't started Presumed Innocent yet, right?
No, I'm hearing really good things
yes,
about
my wife is almost done. Well, however long it is, she's caught up. Okay, well, then the next one, I guess, is this one.
No, we're going to do Acolyte.
Go ahead.
Acolyte's so good. I think Acolyte's so great. I love the twist. I love the reveal. I think the performances are really strong on this show. Do I think that the dialogue is 100% on point all the time? No, I think that just like many shows that are especially, it feels like this show's for a younger audience. But I think it's really, really an endearing show. And I'm curious about like who is more Team Osha and who's more Team May. Because it's funny talking to Steph Sabra, hearing her, she's so Team May.
Yep.
And I think that this show thinks people are more Team Osha than they are. So I'm curious what happens next.
Okay. Next one.
Did you see episode 2 of House of the Dragon?
I did.
I liked episode 2 significantly more than I liked episode 1.
Okay.
I don't know what episode 1 was still good, but I'm really into the politics of this show.
Yeah, it's set up. It's a slow burn, but it's like an intriguing slow burn.
Yes. And the family dynamics and like what's to happen here.
Yeah.
And the accusations that get thrown.
It's great.
I think this show is, talk about a show that's really well written.
I know.
This show is really well written. And I do like a show that shows that there are consequences to your actions.
Mm-hmm.
And this show seems to, I think, be able to deliver on that. Like, on shows, a lot of times characters will do something and then you never hear about it again and there's no relevance to it. And you're just like, what? Then why'd you do that?
Right.
Like, why did nobody catch on to that? No, why nobody was bothered by that? This show has a lot of paranoid people who are on their toes, as they should be, and are looking to, like, where's the hole? What's happening here? I won't spoil this, but the twin storyline I thought was really well played.
Yeah, it was.
Really well done. And that could have been so convoluted and weird.
Yep.
But instead, I just thought that was excellent. Team Black till I die.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, for sure. So loving the show. It's definitely going to be a top 10 of the year. I would have to assume. It's really good.
All right, next one.
This is the only show that I actually might like better than House of the Dragon right now. The Boys is just fire. I mean, they don't miss. Homelander is like just such a menace that it is so horrifying. And we've known that from day one. And yet they still keep finding ways to surprise us on what a true menace to society he is. Woof. You're not watching this yet?
Not yet. I know. And this is one of the moves, casualties is that I haven't had a chance to watch.
Once you start, you're gonna. I know you are obsessed with this show.
I love this show.
Like,
I can't wait. And I'm gonna, this one and then the Bear is coming up like tonight, I think.
I know, and the Bear is doing something that I think is horrifically
dropping
stupid.
It all at the same time, right?
What a bad show to do that.
Yeah,
on.
I know.
I just don't understand. Like, this is another reason I'm not sleeping, Kristian. I'm the TV girl, and they keep doing shit like this to me.
That's stupid for them to do that. But okay, so
it's so stupid. The Bear is such a drop 2 a week, fine.
Yeah, right.
All at once? Are y'all kidding me?
I know, and it's going to be out of the conversation in like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and this is one of the best shows on television, and it's not going to be talked about at all. It's just such a bad idea.
Didn't they do this last year with it though, or was it week to week?
I thought that they did this last year too, but then somebody told me that they didn't. I don't know.
All right. So The Boys though is that's the tits right now.
The Boys is excellent.
Okay. All right.
It's so good. You're gonna love it when you watch it. It's always good.
All right. Next one and last one.
Have I talked to you about Your Honor at all?
Yeah, you did.
Okay, good. So I'm binging through this like crazy. There's only 2 seasons, but I am halfway through the second season. So by the time I'm back for next show, which is in 2 weeks, I'll be done.
Okay.
I can't get over the changes. Last time I talked to you about season 1, which Bryan Cranston is one person in season 1. And in the second season, still plays the same character, but so much shit has gone down. He comes back as a completely different human.
Okay.
And he is maybe the best television actor of our time.
He's really good.
I mean, between Malcolm in the Middle and then Breaking Bad and then this, where he is 3 completely different people. I'm just like, holy shit, this guy doesn't even get enough flowers, and he gets his flowers, but like, he's so excellent in this show. And I'm intrigued by it. It's become kind of more of a mob mystery show.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, it's like at times it has Sopranos vibes to it. It's really good.
I know. That's one I did see it pop up the other. It's on Netflix, right?
Now it is. Apparently, it was on Showtime.
Oh, okay. So I saw it pop up, and I was going to start it, but like I said, it's just right now, pick and choose. I think the next one is going to be.
You got to do The Boys.
I think I got to watch The Bear. I have to. I just
for sure. The Bear and The Boys before you're on.
Yeah, I'll finish Dark Matter, do a review of that, and then I think this weekend I'm gonna do The Bear, and with the possibility of starting The Boys. So we'll see. But Rox, thanks as always. Rox, where can they find you, the peeps?
Everywhere at Roxy Stryer.
All right, guys. So hit that button, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're everywhere podcasts are found. Remember, we have so many different things on here. If you have not watched that interview with Jamie Campbell Bower, please go ahead and do so. It's I'm very proud of it. I liked the conversation. We got more stuff coming up. As Roxy mentioned, we have our interview with Sam Merle coming up pretty soon. So make sure you check that out. And that's it. So for Roxy, I'm me, you're you. We'll see you later. Bye.